Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the sixth episode of The Flank. As usual, I'm BigBlackRainbows, team captain slash manager of the Solar Phoenix organization. Alongside me, as always, is Tommy2Time, current main laner for Primal Radiance and fellow content creator at Duo. This week, with only having GPCS games and a few IBSG here and there to fill in the spots, we decided to bring in DaddyZilean, the current support of Solar Eclipse, to talk to us and give us his insight on the GPCS games and the rest of the season. How you doing, Daddy?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys doing?
That sounded so bad. Oh my god.
We can do that again, right?
Oh
No,
my
we're
god.
keeping that in. We are keeping that
What did
in.
I just do? Oh god.
I saw him smirk as soon as he said it. I just lost it. Okay, all right, okay. Keep it going. Okay. Holy shit. All right.
That just
For
happened.
future reference, just call me Zillion.
Yep, I'm
Yeah,
not making that
that.
mistake again.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Kicking it off with a bang. All right, so Zillion,
Oh,
how are you
God.
doing today, man?
I'm doing fine.
That's
I
good to
got some
hear.
scrims, some 40+ minute games, so Solar Eclipse special as usual.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. What
So,
about you, Tommy? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Got told I was supposed to fill in for another league, practice with them. Then 5 minutes before the game started, they said they didn't need me anymore. So then I played solo queue, or went to play solo queue. Rank servers went down. Played TFT, got 8th place, and then
Nice.
played an Earth game and lost that too because Fiora in Earth is busted. So I'm doing pretty damn well. So yeah. What about you, BBR? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. As usual, long days at work aren't very fun, but it's almost near the weekend, so I got something to look forward to.
Fair enough. All right, so yeah, this is episode 6, I believe, of the Flank. We're here to cover week 7 of the Duo Esports GPCS and IBSG seasons. So before we hop into the recap of week 7, why don't we just get to know our special guest a little bit more? So, DaddyZilean, you are the
Mhm.
starting support for Solar Eclipse. Why don't you tell us how did you find that team? How did you get to be a part of that?
So I came off the last season of Duo. Uh, I I saw Vaso headcaster because I just finished my headcasting role at Duo. So I really wanted to get on a team last season. I got onto PS White as a sub, played I think a few games, but I didn't really get much done either in Duo or in PRL. So I just going to this season, PS White disbanded. So looked around. I just threw my name into the looking for team chat, and then I got hit up by Cuddlebun, and
Yeah.
the rest was history. Yeah. So
Nice. So you started out with, I think Cyrus is his name, or Cirrus. What
yes,
is
serious.
Cirrus? Yeah. So Cirrus was your starting AD carry, and then after I think week 2 or 3, you got reunited with your, I don't know what to call him at this point. Your duo, your
Yeah,
best
my
friend,
duo.
villain in glasses. We heard all about it every day. AR bot lane coming in, strongest duo bot lane in history, 15-2, best record. How is it teaming it with, or how is it teaming with him again?
This has always been the goal. The goal was always to try to get this bot lane back. Uh, Villain is willing to flex any role, so basically, if there's a role for him to fill on a team, he'll go do it. So that's why it's been spotty for the last couple seasons. But we finally got together. I've been playing with him for the last 2 years at least, maybe more.
Mhm.
And it's funny because I just like again like just like dropped my name into a looking for team in a different no longer established league, and then I just started playing on this team with him, and then we hit it off. We played Cog Lulu for because it was I think 3 years ago. We only played Cog Lulu,
Ardent meta,
and
yeah.
then and then we got our highest ranks, and haven't hit the same since. But uh, been playing off and on with them for a long time for sure.
So what is it? What's the dynamic like? Because I mean, yeah, I've teamed with him when he was in top lane, and I know he can be a very like, uh, I don't want to say aggressive person, but I mean, has he what is it like? Because again, you guys have always wanted to team together. You guys have always wanted to be back in the bot lane. Is he still that like very I want to say cocky, but he's very vocal. Is it still that
Yeah,
same way?
it's definitely cocky and vocal, but the thing is that, especially in solo queue, like when we duo together, I'll just like start going in. Like whenever he says like, "Oh, we're trying to do this to go in," and I hear him say "go in," I'll literally throw a hook, try to go in. Like I'll just hardcore like troll some of these games with them, but but like I'm always looking to engage when I'm with him. So and he knows like when I'm looking for it, except in solo queue. So it's always pretty fun because we always like to engage. We just want to fight, 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 and engage. And if we're sitting back, it's not fun. So
That's
Very
fair.
true.
Um, so now let's talk about your team as a whole. So Solar Phoenix, you guys are currently sitting second place in the Baron division, only down one game, I believe, to DOV Thunder. Did you guys have this expectation coming into Duo? Because I know at the start of the season, a lot of people ranked you guys like fifth, sixth in your division or so. And do you credit that to Villain joining the team? Do you credit that to the top laners that are rotating in and out every other week, or what do
you know,
you give us a little insight about that?
uh, you know, it's been interesting with rotating top laners for sure. Having to adjust to someone new every week almost has been very interesting. So at the start, I would have probably agreed with everyone. I probably would have said we're a sixth, seventh place team with the initial roster that we had. It didn't help that two people were off role because we had Bard who played a lot of support. He filled in top.
Hmm.
We had Sam Wallace, the original mid laner. Then we had Cirrus, who loves to play mages, playing ADC. So there was a lot of mage game from him, regardless of him being ADC. Then we had the switch. We had a couple switches, but then we villain finally joined over, and then unfortunately Bard had some family stuff to do, long-term family stuff. So we've had Ali sub in, and once we had a top laner and we had a villain who was a very great shot caller, uh, the team started to come together really. We looked a lot lost. There was definitely when I initially joined. There was an expectation which I didn't get initially, to be honest, an expectation to be the lead, and then with Villain there, his voice is just great to lead this team, and it's all really come together. Even with the rotating top laners, it's really come together at the end.
So I got a quick question for you. Obviously, me being in the server with you guys, I get a lot of insider information. But for Cirrus, how is he taking the adjustment back to mid lane? Because I know he said he wanted to stay away from that, so to speak. Is he still taking that pretty well?
It seems like it. The guy's a monster. I haven't heard any complaints from him. Honestly, I'm anytime he picks something new, it's always like it always feels like a risk. But then he just puts out on like a stellar performance, goes like 18 and 0. Like it's the guy is a mid laner, like true and true. So I'm not certain why he felt like he wanted to stay away from mid when he's just a monster in mid lane.
Okay. Okay.
So my thoughts on Cirrus is like, I know I'm not like the person to like give my 2 cents on everybody, but like I always
Yeah.
thought he was like serviceable, sort of. Like he's good, right?
Mhm.
But he's not Totemax. He's not Manatsu. He's not Arch. He's not the word. He's not the person like everyone's watching in these games. I feel like yeah, if you put him on a control mage, he's gonna do control mage stuff. You put him on an assassin, he'll do assassin stuff. But he's never just like putting the team on the back and like just hard carrying games, which I mean isn't a bad thing. It's not, but I think he's good. That's what I'll say. I think he does his role and gets the job done. So,
I,
were you saying something or just
as did Rainbows want to add anything?
I don't know
I
if
was
you want
just
to.
say like, so to your point, Tommy. I think that Solar Eclipse has a lot of really good members. Like they have like Zillion has said they have himself. They have uh
You got
Villain,
this. Don't worry.
and then they have the alternative top laners. Not to mention uh the
Luke
new
in the
jungler.
jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
you guys have a new jungler? Wait, what?
No, I
No, he changed his name recently.
yeah,
Okay. I was like,
yeah.
okay.
And so I don't think he needs to be that carry person all the time.
Mm.
Which makes him kind of like fly under the rug a little bit because he does have those I'm gonna call it like standard games, so to speak, where he gets probably 3-4 kills. But it's the stuff that he does outside of just getting kills that I think makes him a very competitive mid laner in that division.
I feel, since you're saying that, that gives me some really strong like PS White vibes, where like not a single
Oh man,
person.
who was the mid lane of in that
Oh
team,
shit,
Tommy?
who
Yeah,
was it?
jeez.
Who was it? No, but I'm saying what I mean, like, not there wasn't a star player, but everybody was like good enough to do their job, and that's just like
Yeah.
how they won those games. Which I can agree with. I think Solar Eclipse is really strong, and I mean, I definitely think they're gonna hold this first or second spot for the rest of the season. Um, but I don't know. We'll see how things go. So last question before we hop into the recap week of week 6. So we're just going to talk about GPCS as a whole with season 7. So has there been any teams that have caught you off guard? Has there been any teams that flew under your radar? Has there been any teams that sort of flopped? Give me some of that, some of your ideas about that.
I mean, on our side, I have yet to fight. Like with this roster, I don't think we haven't fought like MG waves again with our standard roster. So I would love to see that. But I mean, our division's weaker. Let's be real here. So
True.
going into the cross divisional play, I was thinking like it was just going to be Solar Phoenix to look out for. But honestly, the resurgence of Pawn Sacrifice Black really caught me off guard. I think legit Zach's a great jungler. But and also for Tommy's team, we just they have our number every time we play them. Like in scrims in the game, it's just something about Tommy's team. It just the kryptonite hits. But as for that, I mean, with new teams, obviously you always expect them to flop. Valkyrie is kind of hit their stride, or maybe just started to fall off a bit. But as far as that, like we expected Solar Phoenix to do well. They're unstoppable. Uh, but yeah, as for my division, they're just a weaker division. So nothing, no, not many to expectations. They're not really impressed by that many teams on this side, to be honest.
Okay. So
That's pretty fair.
so yeah, and then after we talked about that, we are heading back into cross conference play. We just or this is the last week, I'm sorry, of
Mhm.
cross division. We were before we head into cross or inner in conference play. So at the moment, at the end of week 7, the final tally for number of games won for each division, Dragon has 39 wins, Baron has 25. So I mean, I know you already mentioned you thought Baron was the weaker division. Did you expect this? Well, I'll give this to both of you guys. Did you guys expect it to be this? I would say this is actually relatively close. I mean, it's not
For the
as
most part.
it's not one-sided like 40-8 or whatever, but like um did you guys expect it to be this, I'll say one-sided because it is a 14 game difference, but uh, I'll start off. I didn't think it would be this strong of a difference. I mean, yeah, there's MG Waves, yeah, there's Solar Phoenix where they won. I think Solar Phoenix won every game, and then MG Waves dropped one.
Yep.
But besides that, I think the rest of the teams are pretty even in skill. Wait, that actually.
Wait a second.
Wait, that would what? Wait,
Wait,
I
the numbers
just
starting to
the
add up.
no. Wait a minute. So yeah, that would make sense because I was just about to say, besides those two teams, I feel like everyone else is even. Uh, okay, well, that
All
makes
right.
that makes sense now. Um, so watch out for MG Waves and Solar Phoenix, I guess. Um,
Good job, Tommy.
I don't know why that didn't click in my head until just now, but yeah, that makes sense. All right, so I guess yeah, I think teams are closer. I think heading into this new gauntlet style format for playoffs, which we will touch on more. I'll just touch on it briefly. I think it's going to add a lot more closer games than uh, the previous format, which just had the first and fourth of each team and the second and third of each side. Because if at the moment Primal Radiance is in fourth and Solar Phoenix is in first, and I promise you, at the moment we just get our asses handed to us, and nobody's
Who
gonna
doesn't?
want. Yeah, no one's gonna want to watch that game, right? People are gonna be more interested in probably like the Pawn Sacrifice versus MG Waves game. But with
Right.
this new gauntlet style, where if Primal Radiance ends up getting to the finals and has to face Solar Phoenix, that adds a lot more excitement, a lot more reason to watch that game.
Mhm.
But yeah, I definitely think the teams are a lot closer than the score is showing. So
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. So before cross conference, I thought that Baron would actually win because there was only, in my opinion, two good teams, be that being Solar Phoenix and MG, on the side of Dragon. And there was Valkyrie and your guys' team just kind of like right there, but there was a clear difference between those. And on the other side, we had Solar Eclipse, we had DOV Thunder, Lighthouse, and Stunned, all very very close together. So I definitely thought that Baron would put up. I was expecting like Baron was going to get 30, 32 wins roughly. And then I don't know what happened in terms of the individual teams, but like everyone kind of flipped the switch on Dragon side, and we had Crow beating I think it was Lighthouse if I remember correctly in the previous week or something like that. And we had Aether getting the win, and there was just like teams that I didn't expect to do well played at least one game very well. So that really, it honestly caught me by surprise.
true.
Okay. So I just wanted to see my cue. So I knew that, except for the Pawn Sacrifice game, to be honest, I knew that we would probably go like at least 7-2. That's what was my expectation. But as for the other teams, definitely there was a lot of upsets for sure. There was definitely a lot of games that, like the Crow, like you mentioned, and so I definitely thought we were gonna lose. I didn't know how bad. But as Tommy said, right, like MG Waves lost or won all but one, and Solid Phoenix won on them all. So I think it was, if you add them up, in
Right.
hindsight, it all makes sense. The difference in wins.
True. True.
Well, before we touch more on the gauntlet, we're gonna go over the I'm trying to read these notes. Sorry, where we're going to talk about the week 7 games, the second week of cross conference. So on Friday, we started out with DOV Thunder versus Aether, where DOV Thunder pulled out the win. I'm pretty sure most people were assuming DOV Thunder would win. Aether's not looking too hot at the moment. I think it's definitely an upgrade where they picked up Jackman or Nesquik and Chill. But
Mhm.
still, I don't know if Aether's really like found their stride or caught the wind that they need to raise the sails. But I don't really know about Aether. I know I think they're sitting at sixth right now in Dragon. You guys have the standings in the
Yep.
yeah, so they're sitting in sixth, right?
Yep.
Whereas DV Thunder is sitting in first. Most people probably assumed DV Thunder were going to take this win. Um, Following that, we had Fight Club versus Glacial, which Glacial was this their first week with the new roster? Or
I
was that week 6?
Uh,
I think
I
it
think it
was
was week 6.
okay. Well, I'll be honest. I still don't know a single person on this new Glacial roster,
Yeah.
which I feel like isn't to blame because I don't think anyone in that roster has typed once in Duo in any server or any chat. So, uh, do you guys know anyone on this team at
nope.
all?
Yeah, I don't recognize any players. The only
Uh,
one that might look like remotely familiar is their support, and that's even still a stretch for me.
who's their support?
Zyland is. I'm butchering his
Who?
name. ZY.
Xylanders?
Yeah, Zylandis, I guess.
That sounds familiar, but it might just be because it's an edgy name.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just surprised because Fight Club won. With how like what? I was gonna try and hold back my flame, but like
Here it comes.
Fight Club, I'm surprised they're even possible for them to make playoffs at the moment. their mid laner Stinkrat is literally like a Stinkrat, and that dude actually blows. And like,
Oh my
dude,
god.
okay, so let me explain. When we played them on stream, I was at the internet cafe. I was playing Azir versus Akali,
Oh.
which after level 6, Akali just like wins. Uh, and that dude was down like 50 CS. Didn't have Gunblade yet, like whatever, and then I just basically I gave him a kill because I tower dove bot and like tower shot me 3 times, but that dude just didn't. I feel like he didn't know how to. All right, so welcome back. I'm an idiot, and as I was flaming Stinkrat, I went to mention how he can't hit a keyboard, and as I did, I hit the spacebar and stopped recording. We went on for another 25 minutes, and now we have to do it again. So we were talking about Fight Club versus Glacial. Yeah, I still think Stinkrat sucks, and Kenny Zito, you're even worse. Following that game, we had MG Waves versus GGD. Most people expecting GGD to win this game. GGD.
Did you just have a stroke?
What? What do you mean? What?
You said most people expecting GGD to win.
Did I?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess I am, because most people
And
expecting. I was gonna talk about GGD, and then I said
yeah.
that most people expecting MG Waves to win this.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody expects anything out of GGD, honestly. I think since Waki left that team, and since Major Core isn't on it anymore, and even more since Kakari isn't even in Duo anymore, I think that team is entirely a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too much to say about that.
I don't. I mean, yeah, the first blood didn't happen until 12 minutes, which, like we mentioned in our last recording, which is a surprise to Duo in itself. I mean, a lot of teams either play dumb or like super calculated, I would want to say, to where first bloods tend to happen within the first 10 minutes, I would say. But for this not to happen for the first 12 minutes, I don't want to give credit or discredit to anybody, but I just think it was more so GGD playing scared and not wanting to fight MG Waves. So yeah, MG Waves taking the win on that, putting another win under their belt for cross division. Following that, the last game on Friday, we had PS Red versus Ergatum. Where is Ergatum in the standings again? Like 6th, 7th? What are they? 3rd? What are they? I don't follow
third?
IBS. They're
No.
3rd? What?
No, they're 8th currently at 3-8.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was the whole thing with Titan Duff.
Yep.
Right.
Should I
I
read
mean,
that again?
you can read it again. You can give a synopsis if you want, but basically, PS Red picking up the win on Ergatum. I feel like a lot of people expected this. I feel like IBSG right now. I'm victim of this too. I don't pay too much attention to it. I probably don't pay enough attention to GPCS. I check the Discord maybe once a day to see if I got pinged or if there's anything in subheap. But PS Red pretty much wiping the floor with Ergatum, to which Titan Duff did. I don't even know how to describe it. I guess the gates just opened and he is just now flaming everything in his path. I said hello or something in subheap earlier today, and he turned around on me. To which, hey, I can't fault him. I asked for more flame this season, and he is providing it. I love it. If you would like to read what he said to Ergatum again, I'm sure they'd enjoy this if they didn't catch it in subheap. So.
Yeah, so he added Ergatum on September 26th and said, poor Ergatum. Hyped yourselves up way too much. They claimed that they had the best bot lane in IBSG, and that was disproved after the first game. Later, he goes on to talk about their standings in the IBSG League. They called, or sorry, not the standings, the standings for their bot lane. He thinks they're maybe a 3rd, 4th, or potentially 5th best bot lane. And honestly, considering the position they're at in rankings and losing KTN,
That was wait.
nope,
Yeah,
zero
no.
risk. Wrong
Yeah.
team. Never mind. I don't blame him for saying that. He later goes on to say, "Did you guys improve as a team? Yes. Will you make playoffs? He thinks so. But he thinks they're going to be the last team in playoffs, finishing at the 6th position. And the reason for that is because you only need roughly 6 wins to make it in playoffs at the current the way the current standings is. He thinks he'll get there, but he won't. But the thing that I want to focus on is that he, excuse me, specifically called out their jungler and said, "Your jungler is like a chicken running around with his head cut off. Your draft is so bad. You first picked Urgot, so I guess he's S plus tier now." And like
I
you
mean, it's
said,
in their
Tommy,
it's in their name. You kind of, I mean,
yeah, it's in their name. Like if they don't first pick Urgata or Urgot, maybe they're kind of trolling. I don't know, but finally some flame coming out of IBSG because honestly, I'm not following IBSG that closely either because in my eyes there is a very clear top 2 teams, that being PS Blue and Red, and there's good teams at 3, 4, and 5 each, or 3 is pretty by himself, but 4 and 5 are really close, only game apart. And honestly, everyone expects PS Blue and or PS Red to win in IBSG. Rather, whoever wins the whole thing is up to grab, so to speak. But like outside of that, no other team is really that good, so to speak. Like yes, Rift has 3 losses throughout the whole season, but they don't really like stand out, and they don't have these crushing defeats as they don't deliver these crushing defeats that like Blue and Red both deliver to other teams. So finally, like you said, something coming out of IBSG. Credit to Titan, but yeah, there's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so that was the last game on Friday, and then to follow up, the first game on Saturday was PS Blue versus 2 Poros 1 Snack. PS Blue wiping the floor with 2 Poros 1 Snack. This team, they have 2 wins this season, right?
Yep.
2 wins. First place versus last place. I will admit I thought PS Blue was undefeated. Unfortunately, I again pay even less attention to off-stream matches where they lost to Red, while Red had no bans. So I don't know what to say about IBSG anymore because if Red can pick up a win against Blue with no bans, where exactly does that place them?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say something first. Playing a game with no bans, you'd think it'd be easier. I found that it's actually quite a bit harder because
It leaves a lot open.
yeah, it leaves a
Yeah.
lot open. So like that could have been like the difference where it's like, okay, you've actually left a lot more OPs than you were that you thought, and then suddenly, oh whoops, you just lost a game when
If
your
you
opponent had no bans.
if you think about it, like that first 3 bans mean so much for both teams because
Yeah.
say we go back a few weeks when Caitlyn was meta, right?
Hmm.
Um, if Red doesn't ban it, then you pretty much pigeonhole yourself into having to play Caitlyn, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And then it's like you can sort of manipulate the draft into that because if Red side just doesn't like playing against Hecarim, right? Now they have to ban it on their first 3, whereas if the Red side banned Caitlyn, oh well, look, now you can just first pick Hecarim, right? Like it works pretty back and forth, but losing the bans you think would be more critical, but I feel like at this level of play, like I think comfort is a lot like more prevalent than OP
Meta.
champions. Yeah, meta.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, like I was saying, PS Blue went picking up against 2 Portals 1 Snack, to which a lot of people expected 2 Portals 1 Snack to be like the top team in IBSG at the start of the season. They have 2 wins, and I said this a week or 2 ago. I don't expect them to get many more. I think this team finishes dead last. I don't think anyone else argues with me on that, unless you're crazy. No response. Cool. All right, I'm right.
No.
Following that game, Valkyrie versus Solar Eclipse. Zilean, we talked about this before, but again, recording dum-dum. Why don't you give us some insight on that game?
So I at first didn't remember too much. So I was like, okay, it probably was like a quick 20-minute, 25-minute game. And then I looked back and Villain in Glasses with the big Lucian quadra kill. He was able to do whatever he wanted against Valkyrie. And the reason being is that the team just didn't feel like a cohesive unit. They should have been prioritizing trying to get us into chokes, right? Dragon's a great opportunity to get a team into chokes, and it just didn't happen. Those chokes, the team didn't know where to position with Vel'Koz. And mind you, this player, I don't remember the mid laner's name,
Sev is
plays a
dead.
great Vel'Koz. They play a
Sev is
great
dead. Yeah.
Vel'Koz. They're known for it. But it didn't come through in this game because the team didn't know how to play with it. And also, shout out to Princeton again, flashing forward with Kale. Princeton's a monster on Kale. And I believe that's all the points we hit. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm gonna ask the same question I did earlier to you, Zillion,
Hmm.
and say with Valkyrie sitting at tied for fourth with Primal at 8-7, do you think that team is deserving of that record currently?
It doesn't feel like they do because again, I would like to say that the cohesiveness has to be there if you're a top team, and it's just not there for them. So it's surprising that they have this many wins with how that team feels to play against.
So I was thinking about this. I was gonna ask you previously, but we kind of brushed past. I was gonna ask you this when we were talking about you and Villain, but you
Mhm.
just said Villain's name, so it kind of came to my head. Uh, who do you think is like which team has the bot lane that you like least look forward to playing against?
I mean, Phoenix, obviously, because
Obviously.
for me, like I thought I had like a pretty like balanced pool where I had a lot of picks, and then I wasn't. For me, the big thing was like Pablo can just bring out a lot, and like Pantheon just completely destroyed every single bot lane that I was expecting to do well, and so it was just like, okay, Pablo can do a lot and can bring a lot of surprises. I gotta widen my pool even more. So like going against Solar Phoenix, like even though you get stomped, you're like, yeah, these guys are doing something really well that no other team is able to accomplish. So yeah, Solar Phoenix's ball lane always a terror.
Okay.
Interesting.
Um, no, I was just asking because I mean, I don't want to discredit you and Villain, but 15-2 bot lane, going up
Yeah.
against, it's like it's got to be, there's a reason you guys did that well. Do you think just like the level of play is just that much harder this season? Like, or just,
Sometimes I think back in the active rush days,
mhm.
it was just that people didn't really respect us.
Oh.
And now there are more bans being thrown our way for sure. But I think to compensate, we've also put a lot of time into getting more and more ball lane picks.
Okay,
So more bans means we're playing a lot more, and we're gonna hopefully have some surprises in store for the second half
yeah, like
of the
Varus, right?
round robin. Yeah. No, no, not Varus.
Not
Not Varus.
Varus,
Varus
not
sucks.
Varus,
Nope, not Varus. Even with the buffs, not Varus.
not Varus.
Honestly, I'll fill you in. There's not a lot of good Varuses. There's two people that play Varus on Solar Eclipse, and they both suck at it. They,
All
so
right.
probably not
Please.
Varus.
Oh
No, I
boy.
got the insight. I got the rundown of what that whole plan was for
Yeah,
Varus, but
yeah,
I won't share it in case you guys still plan to do it again. Um,
probably not.
okay, cool. All right.
Yeah,
So
don't worry about that one. Then
uh,
when it comes back in later, just still don't worry about it.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Solar Eclipse. You pick up it against Valkyrie. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Valkyrie's like I think is they're good, but they're not amazing. I think they all can, like I said about Cirrus, or yeah, Cirrus. Like I said about Cirrus, I think they're all serviceable and all like decent at their roles. But then, as you mentioned, I feel like as soon as they get into a coordinated setting, it just sort of they're not on the same page. Which, again, I feel a lot of teams fall into that trap. They think they're good in solo queue, and then they get onto a team, and it's just not the same. You just, uh, I'll reference this again when we get to the games on Sunday. Um, but some aspects of the game that happen in solo queue just either don't happen or completely like disappear in fives. So following that game, we had Aether versus Lighthouse. Lighthouse picking up the win. Uh, Aether sitting in seventh. I know I just asked you this. They're seventh, right?
Yep.
Seventh.
Sixth
Sixth. God damn it. I need the standings up, but I can't have everything up at the same time.
at once.
Yeah.
Print it out,
I
tape
should
it up to your
have.
wall.
I should have. I should just have like a spot on my wall for standings.
Yeah.
And then I could just remind me of how I'm tied with Valkyrie for 4th. Anyway.
You can just take your monitor from your roommate that back there.
Yeah.
Just take a monitor.
True. Um, so Lighthouse picking up the win. Lighthouse. Lighthouse is so back and forth. I feel like they're like a coin flip team, just like Primal, where they pick up wins where they should/shouldn't, and then they lose games where they shouldn't, and then like they like do it. Does that make sense? I don't know, but I just I feel bad because I like Aether, I like Jackman. I think it was definitely an upgrade over Ziggy Azalea, but I don't know. Playing Callista the first time on stage, and then shitting the bed, and then I don't remember who we played this game, but
He played Jin.
was this the game that he was trying really hard to carry, and then just
He was honestly trying his ass off to carry this game, and it Jackman's a great player. I'm not even gonna discredit him. He's a really good player that is very smart in the game. But man, it's hard to carry from the AD carry role if the rest of the map is just gone.
Yeah. Considering also that this is not really the biggest ADC meta right now. Like, you definitely want to be carrying from top for sure, top or mid or jungle, not bot lane. Almost never bot lane.
it's so sad. Like just since you mentioned like 80 carry meta, like I feel how like when the game, especially the first like few weeks of Duo, when it was Ashe Caitlyn every single game, like you're literally either picking a champion that auto attacks you from a screen away, or you pick somebody that has a global stun and neutralizes the lane. Like, how boring is that, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's so boring. I want to see Ezreal. I want to see like, I'm blanking on 80 carries. I want to see. I would love to see Callista. I want to see Kai'Sa. I love
Yeah.
Kai'Sa.
Yo, Killjoy, where's your boy
Killjoy,
at?
But I want to see something different, man. I'm so tired of like I would love to see mages in the bot lane again. I would love that. I don't know about anybody else, but I'd love to see some. I mean, I know who was it? I think Jackman played like Veigar bot, right, in one of his
Jackman
games.
played Veigar, yep.
Yeah.
His first debut game in Duo last season, Veigar
Yeah.
bot.
I think Cirrus also maybe played Veigar bot in our first streamed game, which
No, you played Ziggs.
didn't go well.
You
Did we
played
play Ziggs? Okay, yeah. We also
I
played
remember
a
that
mage,
because
so.
you guys played Ziggs in the first like 3 or 4 games or something. Like, or
Yeah,
first 2. I don't know.
it was not good.
Yeah.
Not that his Ziggs was bad. It's just that we weren't a team yet. We weren't
Right.
a team there. So like we were really like at that point. I don't want to turn into a history of that Eclipse again, but at that point, right, Cirrus, like we were looking like, okay, Cirrus, carry us with these mages. Please help. Please win. So yeah, I I honestly I like it when I get to play mages. Like I like pulling out the Zyra. Zyra's too much fun.
Zyra's like, okay, I know Zyra has like her flaws, her weaknesses, but like if you don't
Yes.
get on top of Zyra, Zyra does like 50,000 damage in a game. Like
Oh
that's,
yeah.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
that champion's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's super squishy, no mobility. But anyway, final game of the night, we had Crow versus 50K, which BBR, you had the pleasure of casting.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Time to let the flame out. So, Crow versus 50K, right? 50K is a new jungler. He goes by Nisanov, and he picked Master Yi. So in solo queue, Master Yi is a good champion to literally solo carry a game. But in fives, when you're in a voice call, when you're in a cohesive potential unit, Master Yi is garbage. And like I'm just being honest. So he's garbage because Master Yi relies on getting early game pressure, early game kills, so he can get his item spikes and just waffles on the game, right? And when you finish the game at 2-9 with only 2 items and the third, pretty far down this, but like highest gold on the team, but like 6th overall in the game, you're essentially useless, right? And Zui picked his other signature champ in the mid lane, which is Lissandra. And Zui is a good player, but there's a mini map, dude. Like you don't blow your full combo on a LeBlanc when the enemy jungler is literally in your bush. Then you have a ward on. And he did that like 4 times, and each time he paid for it with his life. And my God, did Eddie enjoy that? He finished the game 15-0. And the point that I remember very specifically is, Eddie was sitting in 50k's jungle near their tier 2 bot side turret, and he didn't back for like a solid 4 minutes. So he was probably sitting on like 3.2k gold, and he killed Lucian. Lucian respawned, went back to bot lane. Eddie was still sitting there for him, and Eddie W'd out over a wall, Q'd him and autoed, and Lucian was dead again. And my God, like I don't like I really honestly thought this team would do very well because they had a lot of really noticeable names. They had Waki at the time, they have Killjoy, they have Kiri, they have Zooey, and I was like, yeah, this team's gonna be really good. But like, I don't know what happened to that dude. Like, my God, oof, that's an oof.
Yeah. I don't. Is it even? It's still. They can still make playoffs technically, right? If like they won every game, right?
They have to win every game, and I think Stunned and Lighthouse have to lose 2 games.
It's not impossible because we are going back to in-conference play, so it's not impossible. The dream is not dead, but
It's
pretty unlikely.
shrinking. There it is, shrinking very quickly.
So that was the last game of the Saturday game. Going into Sunday, we had Primal versus Stunned.
All right, Tommy.
Do I have to,
Yeah.
or
You might as well.
Yeah, tell us about that mid lane, dude. What happened? Dude?
Gapped by Walrus? Question mark. All right. So this was the game that Painless unfortunately slept through. We had to actually get my roommate to play. He's been on the sub list for a while.
Nice.
Wait, your roommate is
Yeah.
on your sub list?
Yeah.
I saw him playing League at the start of our recording.
Yeah.
Like he was playing League in the background. I'm not sure if you saw that.
But he dabbles. He's mostly a support player, but he plays a bit of jungle. But he wasn't even the reason the game was like impossible. We picked 3 losing lanes. Draft diffed by Nuffies ? But we ended up with like Renekton versus Gnar, Lucian versus Orianna, and then Twitch Lulu?
Yep.
Twitch Lulu versus I don't even remember their bot lane. Was it
Kaisa?
Kaisa? It was Kaisa, yeah. Kaisa Rakan.
Yeah.
And I was mentioning earlier how like a lot of solo queue aspects disappear once you go into 5s. He would mention how he's like, I'm planning to do this, I'm planning to do that, but then it would slowly like fade away because it's not the same thing you can do in solo queue as you can do at 5s. And he was the only one that I think that finished with like kills, I think.
He's the only one that finished even. Yeah.
Yeah. I got gapped by Walrus. Lucian's just a broken champion right now. Really not much else to say. We just kind of had to give up every objective in the game. With Renekton, Elise, Lucian, and Rakan, you can't fight them until 40 minutes when they fall off, and we did not even get a chance to get to like 25. So there were several times throughout that game that I said stop going in the jungle. And then 5 seconds later, somebody would go in the jungle, and then an Infernal Soul Elise would one-shot them. And I'm guilty of that as well at the end. I got hit by a cocoon, didn't cleanse it because I didn't expect to die, and then immediately lost 900 health off of a QW from Elise. But yeah, hey, Stunned looking a lot better, especially with Tyler as their mid laner. I think they make playoffs, but
Oh, absolutely. So.
Oh, this is dude. I'm looking at the notes. I saw Rift, and I immediately thought Rift Dragons from last season. I was like, where? What is this? Okay. So yeah, next game we had Rift Arcanines versus Divine Ascension Gold. Rift taking the win, sitting pretty, 3rd place. What's their score? Like 9-3 now or something?
9-3.
Yeah. Divine Ascension as a whole actually kinda sucking balls. I'm pretty sure this is confirmed, right? Divine Ascension Plat left GPCS, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that new team. I don't even think they have a roster submitted yet, do they?
I know there's a new team for IBSG. I didn't know there was a new one for Plat
Yeah,
already.
isn't it that Nebulos team or something?
I thought that was IBSG.
Is it? Oh shit. Don't ask me questions. Yeah, no, that is for IBSG. You're right, because they're taking over that team's record.
Yeah, they're
You're
taking over Zero Risk. Yeah.
right. Yeah. I didn't watch this game. Wasn't planning on watching this game. Don't care about IBSG really.
It's not
Yeah.
that we don't care. That's just we're not the audience for IBSG.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay.
I just want to say, like, DAG Gold is doing so much better than a Plat team. They might as well just enter the Plat team into GPCS, honestly.
Yes.
I think they
yes.
could. They have two players that played in GPCS last season. They have Lexar
And did
and
well,
Divine.
too.
Yeah, and they got what? They got like 5th in their or
Yep.
6th, 5th or 6th.
Fifth.
Ooh,
Fifth,
5th.
yeah.
Would you say that the top 3 IBSG teams would do better than the
Yes.
bottom 3 GPCS teams right
Yes.
now? Like if you swapped, like we got all the Pawn Sacrifice plus
Rift.
Divine Ascension Gaming Gold. Yeah. Would they be better?
I think so. I think they beat at least Glacial and I'm
So I think
forgetting the other team that's below Aether.
Crow?
Glacial and no. Is it Crow?
Yeah,
What is the
That's 7.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay.
So
wait.
I think they beat Glacial, GGD, and 50K. I honestly think so.
Okay, 50K is so weird for me. Like, I think they would still beat IBSG teams, but I don't think they're like. Okay, I say that solely because I think they're just better players. Like, they have Kiri, they have Zui, they have Killjoy, right? If you were to put like a Silver 2 jungler against 50K, I feel like they just lose.
True.
But
True.
PS Blue, I think beats them because
Yeah.
PS Blue has like GPCS players playing in IBSG. I think they definitely beat Glacial. Who like why? Why the fuck are they still playing? Like, I get you paid money to enter, but like Jesus Christ, get a win already.
Hey, they have 3. Okay, let them
Yeah,
be.
they have 3.
Because they picked it up from the old roster. They haven't gotten a win on their own yet. That's crazy.
My.
Tommy, are you okay today?
Dude.
I don't share the opinions that Tommy does. In case
Dude.
anyone's wondering, these
Dude,
are Tommy's opinions and his opinions alone.
This is my show. I say my collective my show. I'll flame whoever I want, and then I'll eat my
Yeah.
words later when I lose to them in conference. Anyway,
It's okay. I'm pretty sure you guys are the only team that lost to Aether, so it's fine.
anyway. So yeah, Rift wins that game.
Yes.
Following that, we had 50K versus Primal. I just want to say, we 500 IQ'd that draft, by the way. And,
100%.
like, okay, I've been spending a lot of time in the Solar Phoenix Discord, which, like, if those of you that don't know, like, Killjoy, Mike, Walkie, like all of them, they hang out in there too. Nesquik does, some of the Primal people do, and we shit talk, we banter, all that stuff. And so the whole time they were like, "Oh, we're gonna leave Gnar open, right? Like, 'cause it's a contested pick, you know. Solus likes playing Gnar, Mike likes playing Gnar, and then what else did we say? I was like,
Pretty sure your hand shook on Samira too, right?
oh, we left Samira open because we had Maokai already picked. So
Yeah.
we're not gonna pick a projectile bot lane, and we're just gonna jump on Samira. Like, yeah, cool. You can reflect. Can you reflect a Maokai route? You can. I'm sorry. Also, Nisanov showing his quality, like, not Hecarim, like, playstyle by running it down mid lane and giving me kills on Syndra and making Zui's life miserable. So I'll let you guys know, I love laning against Zui. We like have played against each other in the past, and it's always like so back and forth. Either he like like skill checks me or I skill check him, and whoever just like does better and like just can carry the game that way. Um, so he blind picked Victor because I guess he was like, I just need to 1v9, get to 40 minutes. So I just picked a really aggressive early game champion, and then when your Hecarim runs into mid and dies twice, gives me Ludens by 13 minutes, and then I can literally one-shot everyone on the team. Uh, nice. Also, Painless decided to wake up and play today because he literally woke up 10 minutes before our game and then went 7-0 and like 10 on Olaf. Peanut also went, I think, like 9-0 and something on Misfortune.
Yep.
So yeah, they really popped off. 50K. They just like I don't know. I don't want to blame it all on the jungler, but their jungler's kind of dog.
It's
Wolf Lord.
weird because they have a lot of like top 3, top 4 players. I think Kirei's a great support.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember the other players' names, but they have really good players. Like it's surprising that they're having so much trouble getting wins because
Well,
they I think their players are all very good.
I mean, yeah, they have Waki is a good shot caller, but again, he's playing jungle instead of support.
That's true.
Killjoy, I don't know if this is like his first season. I don't think it is, but I know he didn't play in the past two.
Yeah.
Mike, I know is a good friend of Killjoy. But again, I don't know how much competitive like uh, backstory, like history they have. But I definitely think if they play again next season, they'll do better. Especially if they have like people on their starting rosters and like maybe like Zui. I mean, yeah, he went from top lane on PSB and now he's starting mid. Uh, he's just he's good. I know he is. I know he's good, which I know he's a respectable player. Which is honestly I was kind of worried about picking Syndra into Victor because if you don't get ahead, you just get outscaled. But
Yeah.
there's really I just there's 50K out. I really was expecting them to be like kind of like a powerhouse alongside Solar Eclipse, but then they
Yeah.
just kind of flopped.
Yeah.
Um, Finishing out Sunday, we had Glacial Academy versus Rift playing their second game. Wait, that's crazy. I didn't even realize that Primal played 2 games and Rift played 2 games that day. Um, but Rift Warriors picking up another win against Glacial Academy. Uh, I was still riding the hype. I didn't get to watch this game, so
I didn't watch either. I did notice in general chat that they were like flaming Fridge, and I'm not exactly sure why or what's the reasoning behind it, but I did see a lot of people dogpiling on Fridge for whatever reason. But
how are you gonna hate on Fridge? Fridge is like the nicest dude in Duo.
right, like I that guy, I don't know. He's so nice and so like humble that everyone just like hates him for it. I feel like so weird.
I think I might have brought on too much flame this season.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
uh,
So yeah, not too much to talk about for the Rift game. Like it's another top team versus another bottom team, and kind of goes as expected, so to speak.
all right. Well, that's gonna recap all of Week 7's games. Heading into Week 8, we are in the last week of cross division. Oh wait, no,
Nope,
nope. Just
we
kidding.
just finished.
We just finished
The-
this week. So next week on next week's episode, we'll recap the last week of cross division before we go in conference. So before we close out, we're going to talk about some standings, some
Yes.
implications, some of our thoughts, opinions.
Yeah.
BBR, why don't you do that for us?
Yes. So for those of you that, or for all of you, since you don't have the insider knowledge that Tommy and myself do, these are the current standings as of this past weekend. For Dragon, we have Solar Phoenix at 14-1, MG Waves 13-2, Pawn Sacrifice Black 9-6, Primal and Valkyrie both at 8-7, Aether at 7-8, Crow at 5-10, and Glacial Rising Phoenix at 3-12. For Baron, we have DOV Thunder at 10-5, Solar Eclipse 9-6, Lighthouse and Stunned at 8-7, Fight Club at 7-8, GGD at 5-10, and 50K at 3-12. So with that being said, guys, and Tommy, I don't want any bias with this, please.
No bias, I promise.
Um, with you guys and Valkyrie both being tied for that last playoff spot, who takes it?
You want me to go first?
No, I want Zilean to go first, actually.
Well, based on my games against both these teams, I think Primal takes it. I really love Peanut in the bot lane. Peanut Coconut's I think Peanut's, sometimes he can be the one that wins you games, and sometimes he'll be the one that loses you games. I've definitely been on the receiving end of both those. And also on the side, playing with Peanut, I played with Peanut a couple times, so I've seen both Peanut's, his good and his bad. But again, against Valkyrie, who I think is like a team that isn't together right now, I think Primal Radiance takes the edge in this one.
So, big shocker, but I'm gonna agree with Zilean.
God damn it, Tommy.
I don't know. I feel like I I don't know why this like we've scrimmed them 3 times. We've never dropped a game to them. We beat them in our duo match, and like they just look so much better against other teams, and then we play the teams that they beat, and we just get clapped. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. But I feel like we'll get it. I mean, it'd be really. It's so lame that like Solar Phoenix and MG Waves just have these like towering records, and then 3 and 4 is determined by like one game. Like that's so lame, but hey, it is what it is. Just be better, I guess. Forehead.
All right,
Um,
so Tommy, do you think that 4th place spot will be decided by one game?
yeah, I do.
Yeah?
I do.
Okay.
3rd place is already determined by one game. PSB is 9 and 6,
True.
and 4th place is
Sorry about that.
it's whatever. Uh, and then 4th place is 8 and 7, and that's tied. I really think 3rd and 4th there could be 2 tiebreakers at the end of the season for 3rd place and then 4th place. So
True.
I don't know. I think Valkyrie's good. I think we're better though,
Okay.
which I feel like I have to say, but I still think we're better.
I agree. As a, an outside source, I 100% agree.
Thank you.
I'm also gonna agree with you guys, and for maybe a slightly different reason. I think Valkyrie has definitely improved from the first showing that they had against us, unfortunately. And their 8 and 7 record, I don't think is undeserving. I think they have looked good in some games, but I like what you two have mentioned. I don't think they're coordinated enough to secure that playoff spot. Definitely against Pawn Sacrifice. Like Pawn Sacrifice has been around so long and they play together so often that I'm fairly certain they are going to lock up the 3rd place spot. And Primal, like Tommy said, it's so like coin flippy with you guys sometimes because you play good teams that lose to bad teams, but then you also lose to the other teams. But then you beat really good teams that haven't lost to anyone else, so to speak.
Yeah, tell me about it.
and like I think like I honestly believe it depends on which primal shows up on which day. Especially for Painless and Peanut.
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah. So moving on to the next question, going to the other division now. With second, third, and fourth being determined by one game as well, actually, or technically all 4 playoff
Yeah.
spots being determined by one game. I'm gonna go to Tommy on this one first. Do you think Lighthouse or Stunned catch Solar Phoenix to tie or potentially beat them for the 2nd place spot?
You mean Eclipse?
What did I say?
Phoenix?
Oh yeah, I meant Eclipse. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's so. I think they're all good teams. Like, I think. I don't know, cause like the stun game that I played in was so like, just overall bad that I don't think that makes them good. But then like we also lost to Lighthouse in like the same manner. So like I don't know entirely. I know Eclipse is good. I know we have their number, but I don't like. I think if we played Lighthouse or if we played Stunned again, it could go either way. I think they have a chance to catch Eclipse, but I think Eclipse still ends up on top.
Okay.
One, because I think Princeton diff, honestly. That guy's just kind of fucking insane. And also Villain has just been playing out of his mind the past like 4 weeks. So I think it's really just going to show when they go back to in-conference.
All right. Zillion, your thoughts?
I mean, I'm not planning to drop any more games. Like when
Woo!
we're back to round robin, it's gonna go everyone's gonna lose. I mean,
All
we
right.
got
I
the
like
training,
that.
we got the training, we
I
fought some
like that.
harder teams. Now we're not gonna lose. Like we should honestly go undefeated. So hopefully, like the worst case scenario, right? DOV only loses to us, and then we tie first. Like that's what I'm thinking is gonna happen.
I
So
like that.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
like that.
So I'm in the middle for this one. Because Solar Eclipse is very good. Like you guys have proved over and over that you're a top team, if not the top team, right? But then with the performances that Stun and Lighthouse put on these past couple weeks, especially with Stun picking up Young Walrus and
I'm
doing
sorry. I'm
very
sorry.
well,
Who?
Tyler,
Young Zebra? Is that what you mean?
Young
oh yeah,
Zebra, that is
sorry,
correct. That
jeez,
is the correct name.
Reformed Zebra, I guess.
Reformed my ass.
Yeah, I know, right? But with him doing so well in that one small sample size of game, if they do that well going forward, I still think they lose to Solar Eclipse. However, I think they tie Solar Eclipse because the game that I think Solar Eclipse might lose is against DOV Thunder. And I think last time you guys played, you beat them quite convincingly, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. And I think DOV Thunder is looking a lot more dangerous than what other people are kind of expecting them to look. And if I had to give one game that you guys would lose, it'd be that game. And I think Stunned are going to win, what is it, 5 out of their last 7 or something like that? Or I think there's 7 or 8 games remaining, roughly.
There's 7 games.
7 games, okay, yeah. So I think they're going to win 5 or possibly 6, depending on if they beat Lighthouse, out of their last 7. And if they do that, I think they tie.
No, they'd still be behind.
Would they?
Yeah.
Let's see. Loss, win.
They have to win one more than us
Oh,
if they want to
yeah,
be
yeah, you're right.
tied or above.
All right, fuck
Or,
it. Solar Eclipse takes it.
Take
My
second
bad.
or first? Do you think
Second.
second?
Do
Okay.
you think
I
DOV
still
Thunder is
think you
better?
guys. I
Wait.
don't think they're better, but I think in a best of one, DOV Thunder will do something to win it.
Because they do have a game on us, and if they win the game on us, that for sure.
Yeah.
Assuming
Assuming
both
they beat
teams win the
everyone
rest
else,
of the games,
yeah.
then they would stay first solo.
Yeah. All right, let's go on some spicy stuff. For most of the people who were around for the meeting yesterday, they got the information that we're changing the playoff bracket, and we're not doing the 1v4. We're doing 3v4 versus 3v4, and then switching it, yada yada, stuff like that. So the first round of the games are going to be off stream. But is there a specific, like, let's assume playoffs ends tomorrow, right? Is there a specific game or games that you guys are looking forward to for this new playoff bracket?
Assuming it's set up with how standings are right now.
Yeah.
I would be excited to see assuming Primal wins the first round of playoffs against PS Black, I would love to see a best of 3 between Eclipse and Primal. Because how it's set up, I would love that. Because okay, so for those that didn't catch that, the way the gauntlet is set up is down here it'd be 3rd and 4th of Baron, 3rd and 4th of Dragon, and then instead of going up this way, they would in fact cross and then go up. This is in order to allow as much cross division. I almost said cock division, cross division as possible. And to do so, it also has the highest chance of it being a Baron versus Dragon final for the grand finals. But I think I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because Zilean is here, and I just want to get a reaction out of him. But since we don't know the outcome of all the games, and we only can really predict like one or two, Primal versus Solar Eclipse best of three, I think would be really fun. One, because despite Villain and Zilean going like 0-17 bot lane against us in our game, uh, the game was still considerably like close. Cirrus was like 5-1 on Syndra, and Ali was like 3-1 on Gangplank. So like they were still dishing out damage, but like our comp just basically said like no to everything. We had like Zilean, Ashe, and Maokai, I think, at one point. I don't remember.
I remember.
That was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I think they're all good players. They're good friends of mine too. So that would be fun for me.
So I'm on the opposite fence. I don't want to see that.
I wonder why.
The previous bracket, how we had it originally, right? All Baron on one side, all Dragon on the other side. I was like, okay, this is gonna be an easy first, second Solar, like no matter what, because it was like I know for a fact we can beat the other teams. Solar Phoenix on the other side can beat the other teams. So I was like, okay, Solar's gonna just pick up the money. Just who's gonna get the bigger chunk was the question. With this, however, uh, I have to basically, assuming right, if playoffs started tomorrow, right? I have to hope that Primal loses earlier, so to not let that happen. Because honestly, like I'm more afraid of them than Black, because I think honestly, what happened if you guys didn't see, we lost I think pretty handily to PS Black. I called for like, oh, let's pick Tom Kench into Ash, because in theory, right, you just W the arrows and your team should be in theory fine. However, Ash Karma, hell of a bot lane. It's just so annoying. Your Tom Kench never gets going, and that was my mistake. I called for that bot lane in draft, and I think I threw that game away just like that. So, but Primal Radiance, it's hard to win games against them for some reason for us. So it does make it more entertaining. I think it'd be nice to see, even like if a Dragon final or a Baron final happens somehow. It'd be a lot more fun. So I do like how for the entertainment, right? It's gonna be a lot more fun of a playoffs for sure.
Okay. So I'm gonna go. I think the Stunned versus Lighthouse bottom game is actually going to be the most fun for me, because I think those two teams are the most evenly matched. Because obviously their standings are identical. Like just take standings out of the equation for a second, and I think Lighthouse Titans has shown a couple times here and there that they have the potential of being a very good team. And Stunned was once very good and has since fallen and kind of like resurged a little bit here. But I think that would be, in my eyes, probably the most evenly matched game of this playoffs. Because obviously, as you get higher, you're gonna have Solar, MG, you're gonna have DOV, Eclipse, and a lot of those teams that prove that they're way above the rest, obviously, or not way above, but like above the rest. Um, but I think those two teams would be the most entertaining to watch, because I honestly don't know who would win that series at all.
That's fair. Also, Zilean, to
Yeah.
solve your problem here, you could just
Yeah.
fall to third in your division, and then you avoid us entirely until finals.
Well, yeah, but then you got to go against Phoenix, who is gonna be.
I'm just
at the-
saying, if you're that scared
Look,
of us, you could just
look.
avoid us until finals if you're that scared. But
I all I can do is get my team to go first, right, and hope DOV takes care of you.
that's fair.
That's
True.
that's
fair.
the hope. That's the hope.
That's fair.
Because otherwise, no prize money losing to Solar Phoenix on the other side. So
All right. So last question for you guys: will Solar Phoenix drop a game for the remainder of the season?
Yes.
yeah,
Whoa! To who? Okay, wait, hold on. If you say Black, I swear to God.
No, I really think it could be anyone in the top four. Like beside, so like 2 through 4, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I think like yes, all of their players are like a tier above everyone, but if you look how they win, it's like one person collectively doing the job. Like it's either Jodway being a split push menace and ending the game like through split pushing, or it's Codnim playing Sejuani and like just perma-ganking top and bot or something like that, right? Or it's Manatsu who like plays Lucian, picks up 6 kills, and then just carries the fight. Or it's Shrimp playing like Talia Pantheon bot because whatever. Or Pablo's like perma roaming mid on Pantheon support. Like it's usually one person like facilitating the game, which if maybe those like maybe Solar Phoenix as an entirety just has an off day, or they get caught off guard, or their plan that they want to do falls through. I don't think it's like unlikely that they lose a game. I can't tell you who for certain, but I definitely don't expect them to go undefeated the rest of the season.
Okay.
So.
What about
I
you,
was
Zillion?
I was just gonna say that I think they had the Caitlyn and Ash meta down. I think like they knew what to pick. They knew how to play the game. I think with this new meta popping up, especially because I think we definitely haven't seen people learn Samira yet. I think she's definitely a force to be reckoned with. You know, you could obviously take her out with the ban, but I think definitely this new meta could offer a lot of opportunities that teams aren't seeing just yet. And I do think that, you know, Solar Phoenix just, you know, they get surprised one game and then they lose it. And then they're like, okay, you know, we'll refocus and then they'll just crush the remainder of the games. But yeah, I do think it is definitely, I think highly likely that they lose one game just because they get surprised out of nowhere.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume you don't think they lose a game, right?
I was gonna say they didn't, but I'm actually gonna side with you guys because most of the season was played in the Caitlyn Ash meta, right? And a lot of the times we either just like took away the Caitlyn or first picked it because it was left open for some reason. And nowadays, the team isn't really sure what they want to play or how they want to play because now there's Lucian that's really strong. There's Kaisa that's kind of coming back. There's Misfortune. There's Ezreal still somewhere around that mix. And I think as a team, they haven't really figured out what their strongest picks are anymore now that Caitlyn has faded away and Ash is still kind of mingling here and there. So, as much as I would hate to watch them lose a game, I do think it's very likely they do. And I'm actually going to say they lose to Primal. And the reason for that is we dismantled them.
You're putting a lot of pressure on me here, bud.
So hear me out. So we destroyed MG. Like it was not even close, right? And that was like the clear, at least at the time, the clear competitor to us. And if we just go with that same game plan of make Arch unusable, like they just fall apart. I feel. Pawn Sacrifice Black, they are very good, but I don't see without TK they don't have that one person that could solo carry the game for them anymore. I think collectively they make a good team. But Primal is like the wild card for me because Painless could either go 7-0 on Rek'Sai or on Olaf, or go 0-8 on Rek'Sai. There's like no in between with him. Maybe he picks an Illy and flashes away from 5 people. I don't know, but we never really know what to expect out of Painless and Peanut. And when we play them, Painless and Peanut might take Adderall and be on the best game of their life, and something might just happen. So I'm gonna say we lose one game to Primal, actually.
Okay.
And now,
see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah. For the second half of that question, with playoffs very quickly approaching, and this is specifically for Solar Phoenix again, with how destructive Solar Phoenix has been in the regular season and how they have been, like I said, dismantling teams. In the playoffs, do you think the matches will be a lot closer than what we have seen out of them so far?
I definitely think so, being since now it is a gauntlet style, and the person that gets up to the finals basically has to work their way up there. Um, we have the third and fourth playing the second seed, and then the second winner, or the winner versus the second seed, goes up to play the first seed. Basically, we don't have it, so first place is going to play fourth place and just wipe the floor with them. And then first place is going to play second and third and then wipe the floor with them. Like these games are going to be closer because the team that's moving their way up has to work their way and prove that they are better than this other team, so to say. So if we do end up having a first versus fourth, then maybe that just shows fourth place didn't deserve fourth place in the regular season, or maybe it shows that second and third weren't as strong as like, or second and third weren't as deserving of second and third, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I definitely think the games are going to be a lot closer. I think it also the schedule rewards like first place and second place, which is why I've always liked Gauntlet. Yes, you do have a week off, and I think first place has a week off of no playing. Some people complain like, oh, they'll be rusty, they won't have any practice, and the other teams will have more practice heading up. But I don't know. I think you still deserve something for getting first place. So having a higher likely chance of winning the whole thing is good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. So I don't think I have any different opinions than Tommy. It should be a very competitive playoffs. We have fourth versus third, then whoever wins that makes the second, then the first. I don't see how this wouldn't be competitive unless Baron and Dragon, unless the third and fourth of one division just dominates up another division. It should be very competitive. No questions asked.
Okay. And I'm in full agreement. I couldn't say it better than what both of you said.
This is something that totally came off the top of my head. We're going rogue for a second, all right?
Oh,
So,
God.
So we talked about this in a Discord call one night, probably a week or so ago. So we've seen 8 weeks of play now. Everyone has a general idea of how everyone plays. BBR, your entire Solar Phoenix roster is now ineligible to play in Duo Esports. Who do you rebuild the roster with?
Ooh. Ooh.
I just put him on his ass. Look at that. Look at that. You are rebuilding the Superstar Season 8 Duo Esports champions. You cannot have a single member from your current roster on there. Who do you pick?
You can go make it hard mode and make no Phoenix or Eclipse. You can make it.
I mean, if you want to take Eclipse too, you can. But is that going to be your Season 8 Duo champions? You can also edit. You can pick some. You can take none. You can do whatever you like.
Does Rare Candy count as being on the current roster?
I mean, he's a sub. If you want to take him, yeah. If you want.
Yeah. All right. So I would do. I'm gonna get flamed so bad for this, but I would do Rare Candy.
In what
myself.
Position? Wait,
Rare Candy support.
What? I said champion. What? No, I said Season 8 champion. What are you trying to do here?
Hear me out. So I would do Rare Candy myself. I would then in the mid lane. Oh God. Who would I put in the mid lane? Fuck.
Dude, would you take Tyler?
I'd rather play mid lane. Sorry.
Oh my God.
God, who would I put in the fucking mid lane?
If you look at your options, they're pretty limited.
Actually, you know what? No, fuck it. I put Tommy in the mid lane.
I don't wanna.
You can go fuck yourself.
All right. Okay.
All right. Wait. So do you really not want to?
No, just keep going. It's
Okay,
not,
all right,
it is hypothetical. Shut up. Just go.
Yeah.
Jungle. Oh God, jungle. I don't know. I don't know anything about jungle. I have no fucking clue. But top lane. I know exactly who I'd put in top lane. I'd put my man Ali in the top lane.
You gotta put Galley.
Yep.
Okay.
Since he's not on any roster and I know he can solo carry games, I got it. And the reason why I put myself there is because I know as a player, I will probably not be the carry of the team, right? Because I'm not the best player by any means. But I am serviceable enough that I can guarantee that I won't it my fucking face off, and I will provide my mid laner and top laner the opportunity to go across the finish line with me.
You heard it here first, everyone. Duo Esports Season 8 champions, BBR. All right. So that was just something I thought I wanted to do for fun, because everybody was throwing out names and all that shit. So I just wanted to see what you would do.
I'm gonna get so flamed for it. I'm not.
All right. So we're actually going to be wrapping up this episode. Before we head out, we're going to talk about the voting for next week. But before we do that, Mr. Zillion,
Yes.
please inform us on how you received 48 votes in a matter of 4 hours.
Well, it comes down to knowing the people, and I knew some great people. I got shout outs to Mookie, big, honestly, my running mate, honestly.
Running.
Yeah,
Okay.
very helped me get a lot of those votes. Honestly, I was if you saw what happened with the previous votes and how I was commenting about it, big hypocrite, because I was definitely calling out what was it, 100, almost 150 votes last time
Yep.
the poll came out. So I was like, oh, you know what, it should be within duo, and I kept to it. I had like what, 8, 12 votes,
You had
and
like
then I saw
you had
overnight.
like 16 or something at one
Yeah,
point.
and then overnight, Coconuts got like plus 12 or plus 16. So she was beating me by, she was 28 to like 16. So I was like, okay, she's doing something. I got to do something. So I started just posting around in just friends of friends servers. And I got in touch with Mookie out of nowhere. And she bumped me up so much. And I also got to plug this. Hold on. One of my friends' Instagrams
Oh my
that comes
god.
out there.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. I respect it.
This is a
I
first.
respect it.
So again, uh I had a lot of support from friends. So I had a lot of support. Like I said, without Mookie, but honestly Mookie was the big diff though. She brought in a lot of support, uh and she got me like 30 votes within like 30 minutes. So it was insane. So
Jesus Christ. Well, speaking
yeah.
of coconuts, we were actually planning of doing a four-person episode today. Unfortunately, she had some IRL issues and wasn't able to make it. Basically, what happened was uh, after the week before, when there was the whole vote scandal, whatever, we decided, do we allow DaddyZilean on the show after obviously tampering with the votes? But
I
then,
wasn't the only
okay,
one though.
okay, okay. And then we said, and then BBR comes to me and he goes, oh, so we go with coconuts? And I'm like, I'm going to look super biased if we take the second place, who is my support. So then I was like, Por qué no los dos? Why don't we do both? And unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it today. I'm sure she would have had a lot of good things to say about everyone. She's not someone that would flame, so she would be the voice of reason this episode. But hey, maybe we'll have her on for another episode later down the road. That being said, we are going to start listing off the possible candidates for next week. So, Mr. BBR, if you would please do so.
Yes. So to spice everything up a little bit, we are going to be holding a captains only poll this week. And for several reasons, we're not listing every captain in GPCS. And again, this week is focused mainly on GPCS to kind of round out cross conference and playoffs, since a lot more of the audience is in tune to those people. But this week's people for captain selections are Greeny from Crow, Stinzo, I hope is how you pronounce him, from GGD, Polar Bear Minion from NG Waves, Coconuts, surprise, surprise, from Primal, Yoki, DOV Thunder, Flacco from Fight Club, Cubix from Stunned, and the infamous Omari from Pawn Sacrifice Black.
Um. So yeah, be sure to go ahead and post your vote when we link this in general chat. Uh, that's all. That's everything from me this week. Do you guys have anything else you want to say or get off your chest while you can?
Don't cheat the vote, guys.
Don't cheat the
Make
vote.
it legit.
Make it
If
legit.
someone, like I said, if someone cheats, everyone's gonna cheat.
True.
No NordVPNs this week, please.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been The Flank, episode 6. We've been joined gracefully by DaddyZilean. I'm Tommy2Time. That's BBR. This has been The Flank, and we'll catch you guys next week to recap week 8 of Duo Esports season 7. Thanks you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
See ya.